The Lennox-Gastaut Syndrome Foundation hosts a conference every 18 months to bring families, caregivers, and professionals together to learn about what's new in LGS. What we hope families get from these conferences is not just a better understanding of the disorder and the treatments, but also the ability to form relationships and meet other families who have a loved one with Lennox-Gastaut syndrome. Here are the top things we learned at the 2013 meeting.
There's a whole new, exciting world of diagnostic ability that's coming out in Lennox-Gastaut syndrome. First of all, there's been marvelous breakthroughs in the last 2 years in genetics. So go back home and ask your doctor about, I hear there's new genetic testing for epilepsy. How could that help my child?
Also, again, that genetic testing is very important. I have 2 children with epilepsy, her with LGS, but I need to ask my doctors for genetic testing.
I think it's pretty exciting that starting now and in the near future, we're identifying more and more genes that we believe are related to the disease. And I really think it's possible that in the very near future, we will have a much better understanding of the disease. And I also think starting now, with the identification of these genes, we can actually use therapies that are already present and continue to develop therapies that will help patients with Lennox-Gastaut have better seizure and developmental outcomes.
I think our parents are always telling us things that, based on the scientific literature, we'd say, boy, I've never heard of that. So, just as we teach our patients, they teach us as well.
Keep a notebook on every detail about the seizures and information on the medicine, doctor's appointments, to write it all down. I know that it's really hard when you start to say, how many seizures did you have, or did your child have? You forget some of them, and so it's really important to keep a seizure calendar and keep all this information down. It's also really helpful to have a summary of what the doctor said at the appointment.
Don't rely on your memory for things, and that's something that I've learned through the years, because I like to feel that my time and the doctor's time during an appointment it's very, very valuable, our time and their time, and I like to try and be as efficient as possible. And so I try and be prepared for every appointment, kind of like studying for a test.
If you've heard or read about something that you aren't sure if the doctor knows about, or is this something new for your child, bring in the information and where you got it so that we can validate or invalidate whether that's something we should look into further, because as I always tell parents, you might hear about something more quickly than I do just because you're focused specifically on that issue and I might be focusing on 50 issues. So exactly. I'm always happy to get new information.
It is an opportunity for you to know that you're not alone and to meet other people that have the same challenges and the same family, things that change in your family and relationship changes all occur, and that's all normal.
I described it to somebody the other day as being like, it felt almost like a family reunion. And it also felt like, I don't know, if for somebody who might be, if somebody's adopted and they suddenly meet their birth family and they see all these sort of common traits and they realize, oh my goodness, this is where I belong, this is where I fit in.
It is just heartwarming and exciting and promising to interact with all these families who come from all over the place with unique exposure to LGS, but remarkable in our shared experience.
Knowing that I'm not alone, that there's more families going through what I'm going through, that there's kids that are my daughter's age, that they're going through the same thing I'm going through, they're on the same medications. It's just very helpful to know that you're not alone.
You see success stories, some people where their children are doing so much better, and that gives you hope that maybe something I'll take from this conference will I'll bring back home, and I'll talk to my son's doctors about what I've learned, and maybe we can get my son in a better place.
I'd like there to be more of another piece added that would provide more support for the parents and the patients emotionally through therapies or support groups. It has become a part of my life because I sought it out and I needed to get some help, but I don't think very many people have it, and I think, well, most people could use it.
I realized that I don't really get my own support, and I suddenly felt how there was a real gap there that hadn't been, a need that hadn't been met for me.
We are so pleased with the success of the second LGS Family and Professional Conference. We hope you're able to use what we learned at the conference in your daily lives, particularly the importance of taking time to care for yourself and connect with members of the community. If you weren't able to participate this time, please consider joining us at the next meeting. We look forward to seeing you then.